Hey guys, want to talk to you in today's mission brief about this thing right here. The phone. There's mine. Your phone can destroy you. That's what I want you to hear today. I want you to hear me say that your phone has the power to destroy your life. And we need to not minimize that. Do not minimize that fact. Don't downplay that statement. If you do that, you're in danger. What we need to do as men, as men who want to be good husbands and fathers, is we need to talk more about that fact that this phone has the power to destroy your life. Think about this for a second. You carry around with you every day in your pocket, everywhere you go, something with the power to destroy your life, ruin your family, ruin your reputation. I speak on this from experience. If you have heard my podcast episode, my war story, you know that I nearly destroyed my marriage. It should have been destroyed. It was by the grace of God that it didn't get destroyed, and that I'm still married because I made terrible decisions, and it all started with this phone. And we need to talk more about this as men in this country. Our phones have the power to destroy us. I just can't say it enough. In 2025, everything that you get into bad, everything that you get into that's harmful and sinful, it will probably start with your phone. It won't start with a big in-person sin. It'll start with a like or a comment. It'll start with a thumbs up. It'll start with a heart. It'll start with a friend request. That's how sin is going to start in your life. It's going to start with a text message. And that is the very seed being planted of a sin that has the potential to take root and destroy our lives. Now, I've been doing great with my phone for years. But there was a time when I didn't. So I can look back on my life and see how I was living carelessly and allowing these little tiny, easy to dismiss sins to kind of start creeping in, and those little seeds being planted, and you start to see how they grow over time, and you see where that leads and how we get ourselves into such a mess. And then I've been able to see how to live now and the new me and the safeguards that are there and the new way of life, so that it doesn't happen again, so that I don't make the same mistake again. I've made those mistakes before, and I'm here to tell you, like a lighthouse shining a light on the rocks, that I know right where the rocks are for you. And the power of this thing is just incredible. We have to be so careful with it and not pretend, right? I think as men, a lot of times we talk about, yeah, you got to be really careful with your kids and giving your kids a phone and all this kind of stuff. And that's true. But we need to not kid ourselves that the problem is just with our kids, or that we're, somehow above that. And the problem is only just with kids and a phone. No, it's with adults and phones. There is a slow fade that occurs in all of our lives. For every man, we have to guard against the slow fade. And this is just the concept of we don't get off course by waking up one morning and turning 180 degrees, right? We get off course slowly fading from what should be our heading, 1 degree at a time, right? One of our earliest podcasts is 1 degree off, that everyone should go back and re-listen to, talking about how important 1 degree is. And it's accepting that 1 degree in what we look at on our phone, our social media, our texting, accepting those 1 degrees here and there. That's the slow fade. And that's what we have to watch out for. We have to be vigilant. We have to know every day that we are carrying something around in our pocket that can destroy us, and guard to keep it from happening. So here's one of the ways that you can guard to keep it from happening. Is you can know where the danger is and don't go near it. Right. I was on a trip once to Thailand, and a guy, I've shared this on a previous podcast. I know a guy on my trip, there's a big group of us going to Thailand for work. This was a work thing. And a guy in my group said, man, I hope I don't get into trouble out there. I hope I don't mess up. And this other guy sitting there goes, well, you know how to not get muddy, right? And everybody just turned and looked at him. He was like, don't go near mud. Everybody laughed, and there's so much truth to that, right? So here's what that looks like. That looks like not going as close to the line, not going as close to the mud as everyone else around you. Don't go as close to the mud as you could. You could go close and not be in the mud. You get what I'm saying? And you're like, hey, I'm not in the mud. It's okay where I am. And that's true. But you are very close to it. And, I think for myself and millions of other men, especially young men, tend to operate with the mindset of how close to the mud can I get and still be technically safe. It's only when the ground beneath you has crumbled and you've tumbled off the side of the cliff into the mud that you realize the trick was not to get you in the mud. The trick was to get you close enough to it. Satan will take it from there. If he gets you close, he can take it from there and destroy the ground underneath your feet. And this is where every man thinks he's a little bit above the consequences of every other man. Like, oh, what happened to everybody else won't happen to me. No, it will. And the way to live your life is to not see how close you can get to the mud and be clean, but to see how far you can live your life staying away from the mud. I want to stay as far away from it as possible. So, if you have a problem with Facebook, then don't put it on your phone. If you have a problem with Instagram, take it off your phone. If it's a temptation, if it's throwing up pictures and stuff, that you're just like, daggum, man, where's this even coming from? Take it off your phone. Whatever the thing is, TikTok, man, that's awful. Take that off your phone. Take that mess off your phone because you don't have to go in the mud. It's going to bring it to you, right? It's going to put it up in front of your eyes. right? If you're struggling with any of this stuff, block people, change your number, whatever you need to do. No, I mean, somebody's going to give me pushback on this. Somebody's going to tell me, that I'm just unaware and there's a great reason, but I'm just going to tell you, there's no good reason for any adult married man to have Snapchat on his phone. There's just not. Stay away from the mud, because if you're making excuses, if you're rationalizing stuff, I'm telling you, you're just getting closer to mud. Why not just stay as far away from it as possible? Why not just take everything unsafe off your phone? A friend of mine told me, he was like, if you're trying to cut carbs and you go to a restaurant and they bring out a basket of bread, immediately tell the waiter to take the basket of bread away. And he said, that way you only have to say no to the bread that one time, and then it's done for the rest of the meal. He said, if you don't do that, if you let it sit there on your table, you have to say no to the bread every time you look at it. So for the next hour, you're going to be sitting there saying no 50 times to the bread, or just say no once at the beginning and now it's gone. That's wisdom, right? That's how you stay away from the mud. And that's how we need to think about our phones. Men, I want you to understand it's a slow fade that'll get you. Your phone has the power to destroy you. And then I want to end on this point with you. If your marriage is not where it should be, it's on you to change it. It's not, don't point fingers. Don't say, well, it's her, well, whatever. No, you need to take ownership. You need to take responsibility for your relationships. And if your marriage isn't great, then you need to start working on it. And you need to find out what you can do to start improving it. And you need to start working on that thing today. Don't put it off. Don't make excuses. Don't blame her. You start working on your marriage today, because as men, we take responsibility, we take ownership, and we lead. So that means if there's a problem with a relationship with you and your wife, you go to her, you initiate it, you reach out, you start the communication, you open the communication, you make the counseling appointment if that's what's needed. You ask her on a date if that's what's needed. You take the initiative, you change it. By the way, this goes for everything. If there's a problem at your job, you fix it. If there's a problem with you and one of your kids, you reach out to them. You communicate with them. You call them. You text them. You write them. You reach out. You take leadership. You try to change it. If there's a problem at your church, call the pastor. Meet him for lunch. Explain it to him, right? This is what men across the country, across the world, need to start doing. We need to know where the problem is. We need to take the steps to change it, and we need to own it.